To pave the way to improving living standards to current developed country levels by 2050, Asian countries must ensure that their industrial development becomes sustainable and inclusive. This was the goal of the roundtable discussion on the sustainable future of Asia, which featured prominent development policymakers and practitioners from the region.
At the very outset, let me thank Dr. Hohnen, the UNIDO DG, for inviting us for this roundtable. We also like to thank the co-organizers, the Austrian Research Foundation for International Development and the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber.
The Asian Development Bank has undertaken an important analysis of the future prospects for Asian growth in its recent report entitled Asia 2050, Realizing the Asian Century. However, the achievements of this scenario could be threatened by the so-called middle-income trap, whereby middle-income countries find themselves unable to compete with either low-wage economies or highly skilled advanced ones, arresting the pace of sustainable growth in the long run.
I think that this is a very has been organized very timely, and we also expect that UNIDO can contribute more in the Asian development and Asian growth. For Laos PDR as landlocked, least developed countries, we do appreciate the assistance from UNIDO. We would expect continued support from UNIDO with the existing assistance you are having with us, for example, in area of cleaner production, SME, and also infrastructure development.
The report has identified both the risks and the possible solutions to achieve sustainable development through national action agendas, regional cooperation and a global agenda, and various specific measures to be undertaken under each of these headings.
Developing countries still need to create prosperity for their people. They care about the environment, yes, but they also need to build those schools, build those hospitals, have electricity at people's homes, and people need a decent job and a decent salary. There's no magic to that. It is hard work, it is consistent work, it requires long-term visions.
As the most populous continent, Asia is in the middle of a historical transformation. On one hand, Asian countries have begun to move away from decades of low per capita income by consistently achieving high GDP growth rates based on large-scale industrialization. The continent now exhibits several high and many middle-income countries with large internal markets. On the other hand, growth in Asia has not been equitable and inclusive, with the region still accounting for a large share of the world's extreme poor.
What is missing in Asia is a better quality of governance within each of the countries, which means that the governments in Asia, in most countries, in a great majority, in some they are of course very good, but in the large majority of the countries, the quality of the public goods and services, like public education, public health, law and order, the delivery of security, etc., is much poorer than what it should be. As a result, what happens is that even when you get growth, the poor people don't enjoy the fruits of that growth. So governance has to improve, and if governance does improve, that would mean that the benefits of this rapid growth will be much more evenly spread.
The event brought together regional experts and policymakers from Asian countries, as well as international practitioners in the field, representatives of industry, regional and international organizations, and civil society organizations working in the field of sustainable development, trade and commerce.
I think at the moment the focus has to be much more on the challenges, and of course this morning there's a lot of discussion about the challenges from environmental problems, inequality, and that doesn't mean just income inequality, it means inequality in access, particularly to education. And this is becoming a big issue in China and many other parts of Asia. Now everybody is emphasizing the importance of education, skills training and so on. But when quite a large chunk of the population in a sense are left behind, then that's very serious.
In cooperation with the Asian Development Bank, the UNIDO roundtable discussion provided a unique platform to address these issues and to map out a route for sustainable development for Asia.
One of the key lessons that we've learned from today's meeting is the importance of using international organisations to help us think through issues about the future. So I very much welcome the fact that the Asian Development Bank was working with UNIDO in trying to highlight what the key issues for 2050 are in terms of developing industrial policies and approaches which are appropriate to ensure that we're on this path to sustainable development. So my main recommendation to policymakers would be use your international organisations like UNIDO, like ADB and others working more effectively, more closely together in helping remind us of the importance of these issues and helping us convene around developing a collective roadmap.